Taiwan. I'm Ethan Liu with news from here in Taiwan and around the world. Numbers of Taiwanese school-aged children going on exchanges to China have surged, possibly exposing them to United Front tactics. The Control Yuan Taiwan's government watchdog says the Education Ministry failed to enforce rules on contact with China. An investigation found that exchanges have risen most sharply among middle and primary school-aged children, from 38 and 0 students in 2022 to over 1,000 each last year. Some schools reportedly failed to properly register exchange activities, with some arranged by staff without the school's knowledge. Control Yuan members urged the government to address shortcomings. RIMPAC 2026 is coming to an end. Even though Taiwan is not included in the biennial U.S.-led naval drills, there are ongoing efforts to boost the country's role in international maritime cooperation. Ellen Lu reports.
Allied forces carry out a sinking exercise. It's a powerful display as RIMPAC 2026 comes to a close. Over the past month, participating nations carried out 2 sinking exercises using the decommissioned USS Peleliu and USS Mobile Bay. Around 30 nations took part in the world's largest international naval exercise, led by the U.S. around Hawaii. While stopping short of naming any specific adversary, the U.S. military once again stressed the importance of multinational cooperation.
This level of integration reflects an asymmetric advantage, interoperability with allies and partners that adversaries cannot match, and it strengthens our shared commitment to a free and open Indo-Pacific.
While Taiwan was once again unable to play a direct role in the exercise, it continued its bilateral training with the U.S. In a rare social media post, the American Institute in Taiwan, the de facto U.S. Embassy in Taiwan, said the U.S. and Taiwan's Coast Guards are working together on maritime law enforcement exchanges, as well as search and rescue operations. Experts say the U.S. Congress has long supported Coast Guard cooperation between the two sides.
It had a Coast Guard component to do more with the Taiwan Coast Guard in terms of training exercises, helping the capacity there, and that was something that Congress put forward.
台湾不只是跟美国有类似的合作，甚至跟日本、跟菲律宾也有类似的合作，甚至我们也不排除，或者是我们可以很乐观的预期，未来可能不仅是台美双边而已，可能是更多边的海巡的合作。
Earlier this year, Taiwan's Coast Guard officials also told TaiwanPlus that Taiwan is working with the U.S. and its allies at sea.
我们跟美国有签署，我们有合作备忘录，那也是在海域执法、救生救难，因为救援无国界，所以这个都是比较单纯的。
China has stepped up its gray zone activities around Taiwan, deploying Coast Guard vessels not only near Jinmen but increasingly into waters of Taiwan's east coast. As RIMPAC wraps up, Taiwan is also seeking ways to work with partners to strengthen maritime security. Fu Hua-hong, John Su, and Ellen Lu for TaiwanPlus.
Oil prices have jumped almost $3 a barrel as renewed strikes between Iran and the U.S. shatter a pause in fighting. The U.S. said it foiled an Iranian missile attack on U.S. troops. The U.S. and ally Saudi Arabia then hit Iran-backed groups they blamed for striking Saudi oil facilities. Traffic in the Strait of Hormuz remains minimal, with just 5 cargo ships passing through on Tuesday. Analysts at financial company ING said recent events weaken hope that the Gulf region could see de-escalation soon. South Korea is moving to tame an investment frenzy as top financial officials apologize over the launch of single stock leverage exchange traded funds, or ETFs, following sharp swings of its stock market. ETFs primarily tied to tech firms Samsung and SK Hynix are being blamed for recent intense sell-offs in the Kospi. Authorities are now seeking to cap high-risk investments to 20% of investors' total portfolio, along with other trading limits. New risky ETF listings and ads have been banned. The Kospi has sank more than 40% from its June peak. South Korea has one of the highest suicide rates in the world, but emergency officials there are now using AI to try and prevent more deaths. Tiffany Wong has more.
Dozens of bridges cross the Han River in Seoul. Looking over those bridges are hundreds of security cameras equipped with AI, able to detect people that look like they're going to jump. The river is a common site for suicides in South Korea, where the suicide rate is one of the highest in the world, with about 29 deaths per 100,000 people. But with these cameras installed since 2021, surveillance specialists say they've been able to get to those in need faster and improve their rescue rate.
The role of the AI is to first detect all moving objects within the bridge. It then distinguishes whether they are people or not. If an object that has been identified as a person performs a certain action, a pop-up screen like this is displayed to our operators.
Emergency crews are usually able to reach those people within 5 minutes, talking them down and getting them help. And the rescue rate has gone up from 56% in 2012 to 99% now.
Some people say, why stop someone who wants to die? It's their personal freedom, so why interfere? But that's not how we see it. We believe it could be a wrong decision, so we want this to serve as a tool that gives them a chance to stop and think one more time before making that choice.
Japanese company Asila is developing a behavioral analysis system like the one used in Seoul. Cameras hooked up to its AI tool can detect suspicious behavior, like people entering normally unoccupied areas or standing on rooftops.
Security and station staff use this tool to monitor people's behavior, to keep an eye on people who may be in trouble, such as when they collapse or fall, or to detect signs of what is likely to happen next by identifying certain movements.
But getting to the site early is not always enough. In 2025, cameras on 17 bridges along the Han River detected more than 1,200 potential crisis situations. But Kim from the control center says about 8 people could not be saved. And Asila's chief product officer points out that preventative mental health help could be even more useful to bring down the suicide rate. As South Korea and Japan grapple with high-stress societies, these cameras are just one tool for emergency officials to use to reach those in need. Chris Ma and Tiffany Wong for TaiwanPlus.
If you're in Taiwan and having thoughts about suicide, call Lifeline Taiwan International at 1995. Taiwan's top fencers are sharpening their skills for the Asian Games in Japan this September, hoping to back the nation's first ever medal in the sport. Our reporter Sandy Chi met them in training.
Crossing swords with the goal to land the winning touch. Taiwan's top fencers have their eyes set on the podium at the Asian Games in Japan this September. This time, Taiwan is sending a total of 8 fencers to the Games. Among them, the men's epee team has qualified for the first time in 36 years. Their coach believes they're ready.
那我们男子锐剑的话，从去年9月就进来国训了，然后我们有集体在国训这边一起训练，那个强度是够的，所以我们从去年9月到现在的话，我们男子锐剑的实力真的进步了非常多，所以到目前为止，以团体来讲的话，我们确实是准备好了。
因为我们南锐很久没有就是进亚运了，当然是期许就是不管是我们的个人团体都可以拿到好成绩，而且因为这段时间我们这样子打团体赛下来，我会觉得我们配合的还不错，所以我们认为说这次亚运我们的夺牌机会是蛮大的。
Among the squad, there's a lot of attention on foil fencer Chen Yitong or Antonio Chen. The 23-year-old will be making his 3rd appearance at the Asian Games. He made his Asian Games debut at just 15 years old in 2018 and came within a single point of reaching the medal rounds at the last Games in Hangzhou, China in 2023.
第一次就年纪比较小，就可能就有点可以当做经验，然后第2次就真的有希望可以挑战登上颁奖台，可是我之后就发现我也自己有那个习惯，就是很想要赢，然后越想要赢的时候，失误就会变多，可能心态也会变比较急，所以我觉得。 这次，过去比赛之后，我学到就是，想要赢，可是可以用不同方式，用更有耐心的方式来打，希望可以个人跟团体都有拿牌。
Based in the United States, 2 years ago, Chen became the first Taiwanese male Olympic fencer in 36 years when he competed at the Summer Games in Paris.
他也是长期在美国那边。那美国的话，他们的击剑是非常强的一个国家。那这个过程当中，其实他也很多不同类型的选手，所以说， 我觉得他在实战方面的话，其实对于说应付各类型的选手的状况下反而是比较可以快一点适应的。对，所以说我觉得蛮期待说他这一次在我们这次亚运会的一个表现。
And with a lot of tournament experience under his belt despite his young age, Chen hopes he'll be able to use that to support his teammates.
就希望可以当一个好队友，就是尤其在团体赛的时候，团体赛今天的团体赛是那种有点像接力，就是一棒接一棒。那我们就是多鼓励队友，然后互相挺，就是让他们知道这场可能如果打不好或是没有把握的话，可以放给下一棒打。
With the games fast approaching in September, Taiwan's fencers are putting in the hard yards with quick feet as they lunge and parry their way to glory, with their sights set on the podium and securing the country's first ever medal in the sport. Yuan Duan and Sani Chi for TaiwanPlus.
The traditional Guardian General's temple dance, long dominated by men, is getting a trickle of female performers dedicated to furthering the art form and breaking barriers. Lila Matina reports.
From the dark, Lin Han-yi calls out instructions to a student learning the moves of an art form that long excluded women like her. Part martial art, part dance, it's been a fixture of many temple fairs in Taiwan for a century now, where performers in fierce face paint and grand costumes impersonate spirit generals. Lin had been determined to break the gender barrier from a young age, and with her background as a trained dancer, has found it, physically at least, to be easy.
我伫5岁的时阵，甲我妈妈去参加挂香，看到迄个顶头咧入庙，然后伊的顶头内底有百家将甲观众秀，我就秘伫边仔看，我就感觉讲，这个顶头有够帅啊！我嘛想要跳，我就想讲，有一天我一定要来跳着观众秀。
And dance she still does. Tradition might frown upon it. The generals and gods are seen as masculine, represented by the principle yang, not suitable for women, who belong to the opposing principle of yin. But times have changed, and now she's one of a growing number of women making a tradition that once left them out into something of their own. Chen Qi had a similar experience growing up, with a bit of a twist. Her own father used to perform as a guardian general. She's one of a team of young women who joined Lin's troupe.
我想要表现我家己，然后拄好有这个舞台当互我表现，然后佮加上足帅，所以我较想要来学。
But she had to start learning in secret. Being a woman wasn't the issue. Women performers are unusual, but that gender barrier, like many others, is breaking down. Instead, it was the reputation of the art form itself, an association with hooliganism and crime. It took a while for Chen's father to come around.
因为咱迄阵跳家将无冤家啦，就是相拍啦，就是做好遐代志的啦，就是安尼，咱有经验过，咱就无啥要互囡仔去学即个物件。
Lin's troupe, with its growing number of women dancers, isn't just helping them claim an art form for themselves, but also lifting its reputation from a bit suspect to a piece of heritage worth re-examining. And as for the reaction at the temple events where they perform, well...
今仔看了吼，有真仔足赞的，足神奇的安尼。
我以前冇看过，看过查囡仔有法度表演到遮尔啊好。 而且佮大家水当当，爱当画到安尼，真的钦佩。
Lin now hopes to elevate the art form even further by performing abroad. A woman acting as cultural ambassador for a form of movement where women are just now starting to have an impact. Howard Zhang, John Van Trieste, and Lily Lamatina for TaiwanPlus.
Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. Finally, we leave you with images of hundreds of dancers in red paying tribute to singer-songwriter Kate Bush on the English coast. I'm Ethan Liu. Take care, and I'll see you next time.